Good morning. Man, we're already starting out. Hope everyone is well. Let me do some adjustments here on the two. If I mess with the internet while the intro's going on, it interrupts it on my end. I don't know if it does that on yours. I don't watch my replays, so. But anyways, it's Wednesday. This week is flying by, and I haven't done anything. Every time I look, I go to book a load, somebody else has done it for me. So yesterday I decided to deal with the truck partially. Still got to deal with the dead batteries. But we dealt with the IFTA stickers and the paperwork. And looks like that last video I did yesterday is doing pretty good. Looking at the you guys are liking the recorded stuff as well, so that's cool. And my holster video on the other channel is doing pretty good too. So probably affect monetization on the other channel because Google's doesn't like certain things. But anyways, I hope you guys are doing okay, guys and gals. Talk about a few things. Talk about some of the trends I'm seeing, and some numbers and analytics and all that. All right, there we go. We got that. This kind of eliminates some of the bots. Anyways, good morning. I hope all is well with you. If you're watching the replay, I appreciate you. I know there's quite a few of you that watch the replays, and I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for the people that are in here. I got some criticism for my IFTA sticker video, and yeah, I was one of those guys that kept them on there. And to be fair, that whether it's a violation or not is a gray area. Usually, you get 10 different stories, and you go to read the book, and I had never had a truck for as long as I have, so it was never really an issue. My Peterbilt I had for 2.5 years. This is the first truck I've had for over 5 years. So, it got kind of out of control. So I went ahead and took them all off yesterday. We were blessed with a really nice day yesterday, and actually, like literally a week right after the polar vortex, bomb, cyclone, whatever they want to call it. We had some 70-degree weather, and I thought, man, this would be a good time to deal with the batteries and if I haven't dealt with the batteries yet. I'm gonna go out and get a charger, and unfortunately, there's a shortage of them. But the amount of money I would spend trying to get somebody out here to jumpstart me, I could probably just buy my own and get it jumped and get it going and see what's going on with the APU. So we will go over rates there. That one guy, we will go over that. One of the trucks that wanted me to look for a load is landing in a dead area, and my normal contacts don't have anything. So we're looking at the rates coming out of there, and I'm just like, that's why I didn't want to go there. But and as far as local stuff around here, I haven't really looked. I know that Don, who's in the chat, he had booked himself until, you're booked until Friday, right? So you don't need me anymore. Heading some bad weather. Hopefully you'll avoid that. Get in there after the storm, and they got the roads pretty cleared. So we'll go over the rates. We'll go over a few things. New Year's resolutions. How many of you made New Year's resolutions besides the normal, I don't do New Year's resolution? that's fine if you do. I think it's funny the fact that people want to get online and spout how they don't do New Year's resolutions. I don't do New Year's resolutions. That's the stupidest thing ever. Okay. All right. Good deal. If you here's the thing with social media. 99% of what you say on social media really doesn't matter. It really doesn't. It doesn't. You got toxic everything, toxic positivity. Have you guys heard that term? That's where you see all these memes and all these, inspirational quotes, and trying to give you this perception that life is perfect or you can achieve perfection. Well, I'm here to tell you at 51 years old, you will never, ever reach perfection. And the minute that you come to terms with that is the minute that you can start to be happy. The path to happiness is not perfection. And that's the thing. Like I've been at home most of the year. Is it a perfect scenario? Absolutely not. But it's allowed me to concentrate on things that I've neglected, and it's allowed me to create a routine, and it's allowed me to create a routine that helps me with self-improvement. There's nothing perfect about it. LVC says I made a resolution to not watch Snorelord anymore. I already failed. Yep, fail. And so now I get that you don't want to set yourself up for depression when you make a New Year's resolution and you're not resolved to it. Every day should be like a New Year's resolution. Every day should be a striving to be better, whether it's mentally, physically, financially. And it's never going to be perfect. You're never going to have the perfect job. You're never going to have the perfect, truck. You're never going to have the perfect, rate. For every good rate, you're going to have a bad rate. For every good location that you deliver to, you're going to have a bad location. You can have the perfect run and it's perfect in every way, but how long is that going to last? And all resolutions are goals on New Year's. That's it. That's all they are. And people pick New Year's for the um, motivation, I guess, for the starting point, which is look, it's a good calendar perfection um, starting point. You know, just like these people that make their anniversaries on holidays. It's easy to remember your wedding anniversary if it's on Christmas or if it's on New Year's. Nothing wrong with that, by the way. I proposed to my wife on Christmas, but that's there's such a thing called toxic positivity. When you read so many of these positive, motivating thoughts, and then one day you wake up and you realize that none of this has come true for you, so you get depressed, and it creates this anxiety of freezing up. That's a form of anxiety. Most people think anxiety is like this. Oh my god! Oh my gosh! I don't know what to do. But there's a lot of anxiety where you just aren't motivated to do something. That's a form of anxiety. I'm guilty of that. So, anyways, let's go over some comments and then we'll go over some low board crap and we'll see what we got out here. Come on with it. You are first. Hang loose. David Edwards, hello and good morning. My name is Nobody. Good morning. WCF Invader. Good morning. Red Diesel. What's up? Old school, new school, back from vacation, went nowhere. Those are the staycations are the best, right? David Edwards, good morning. Starting at 7 a.m. sharp. Yes, I did. I did, didn't I? 7:01 is when Come On With It commented, so I must have went live right at 7 because it took about a minute for anybody to get in here. Some team, good morning. Pale Rider TV. Guys, check out Pale Rider's live feed last night. He's got his truck back, so he's feeling pretty good about life right now. My wife even made an appearance in his live stream. So if you want to see what Mrs. Pale Rider is like, then go check out his channel. I was not on there, so if you hate me, you don't have to worry. I'm not on there. So the Whole, good morning or afternoon or wherever the hell it is where you're at. Nice if the video, by the way, I'm leaving mine on until I switch trucks. Let's see. Cattle hauling, good morning. How are rates? We will get into that. Good morning, Sterling. Good morning, Shannon. Morning, Pam. James G. What's up? I'll have you get me booked out of Kansas City if you don't mind. I don't mind at all. I was going to call you today, chat with you a little bit, see what we're doing, see what you're doing. Let's see. They make an Optima battery with special charger, expensive but designed to last. There's a storage charge option DIY uses a different brand. That's good to look into. Normally I don't have issues with batteries because the APU's running, and I mean I do go through a set of batteries every year or so. But and I'm definitely due for new batteries anyways. So Todd Blackburn, good morning, back on the road. Good deal. My resolution is to make sure everyone else keeps theirs. I'm good like that. My resolution is to save 100K after all expenses. That'd be good. I have one resolution to become debt free, and entering the trucking game I think will help. It could. If you're working for a good company and you got some good revenue and your bills are low at home, man, you'll do good. Truck driving is still a good money making job. It's the owner operators that struggle at times because of what's going on in the country. Nomadic Brit waiting to be offloaded at Procter & Gamble in Chicago. I made a resolution to not watch. Okay, I already read that. LVC being a smart butt. Apparently, Snorelord never read my book, How I Achieved Perfection. No, I have not. Ratman Roden says, my wife is perfect. Don't believe me, just ask her. My wife's perfect, too. Good conversation with you yesterday, by the way. Good morning, Mr. Snorelord and everyone, says G-Star. Greetings from Christiana, Tennessee, on my way to Louisville. They're forced the market to go down $1.50 and lower, but I'm trying to stay high. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. LVC, you just told us how you failed at keeping your New Year's resolution. Why would we buy that book? Good point. Nothing witty. That was witty. Greg Zimmer, good morning. Buck Brown, my question is why you Midwesterners always sending crappy weather east here lately? It all starts in California, Buck Brown. It all starts in California. I have multiple personalities. I believe that. You just called your wife Mrs. Pale Rider. Is there a story we haven't heard? Did I? Did I accidentally call Mrs. Snorelord? Yeah. Sorry. No, there's no story there. Uh-oh. Cool trucking, good morning. Well, in that case, obviously, if at least one of them is perfect, then I guess that'll work. T-Bone, good morning. Cool Truck says his wife is boss. Not the boss, but just boss. I'd recommend AGM batteries from Interstate. They have held up very well. My truck doesn't have an APU that charges the main batteries, and I leave the lights on all night and still wake up with plenty of juice. All righty. So let's go over some rates. So let me get something on the computer screen. We're gonna do something a little different. If I can find it. Do, do, do. All right. So yes, I promote the 123 low board, but I also have the DAT board. I don't have truck stop, so I'm not familiar with their tools. David Riverman says, "Good morning to you, sir. I'm back on the road. Good deal." Share screen. So this is DAT trend lines. You can find this online. You don't need a DAT subscription. Spot rate spike to close 2022, and that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what I saw. We went from 241 to 254 on the national average. Flatbed went up just a little bit, 277 to 282. And Reefer went from 242 to 294. Now, I've been averaging about 3-ish on the Reefer rates, unless we're coming out of the Northeast. That's always a crap show, unless you're going deeper Northeast. But this is going to change. And some of the rates that I was seeing yesterday was not the greatest. So let me unshare the screen here. What out? Oh. Okay, shut the hell up. All right, cat just meowing behind me. Just it's like, hey, I want on YouTube. All right, so let's look at load availability first. This is the 123 low board. Let's look at van. There's your states for van. So let's look at Missouri here, since I'm familiar with the area a little bit. That's a pretty good rate. Oh, there it is. Batteries non-hazardous, so you can haul that. 43,819 going from St. Joseph, Missouri to Middletown, Delaware for $3,000, 261 a mile. I'm gonna guess that someone fell off that load and needs to go now. Yep, January 4th, 6 a.m. Yeah, so either this load doesn't exist anymore or it's late. Now here's something that doesn't look good. They're at $124 on this load. Oh, it's Van Hotshot. That's why. One of the things I like about 123 is you can actually block brokers. I mean, you can do that on DAP, but you got to pay big money for that. Here's Joplin, Hutchins, Texas. And if you can grab one of those water loads coming out, but look, this is for January 10th. So let's No bueno. Neosho to Circe. 304 miles the average. Finished goods. That's going to be what's the weight on this? Yeah, that's going to be the small appliances going to Walmart or Sam's Club. When you know your area, you can just look at loads and know what they are. Here we go. St. Charles, Missouri to Amsterdam, New York. Oh, it's already gone. Here's one. Kansas City to Hempstead, New York. 260 average. You can look at the rates have been all over the place on this one. So I anticipate rates taking a dump here in about a week or so. And all those emails that you got from the brokers wanting to know where your trucks are all at and wanting to establish relationships, they will slow down. Here we go. Here's St. Joseph to Carson City, Nevada. 4,500, 288 a mile. Axle Logistics. And then from Nevada, there's 40 loads going anywhere. Predominantly Reno to California. Here's one going back east to Texas. $1.69 a mile to come out. And my experience with Nevada is that's pretty accurate, which is why I try to avoid Nevada. Some stuff coming out of Cali. There we go. Here's Denmark, Wisconsin, out of Turlock, California. Average is 188 a mile. They don't even have a posted rate. 43.5 on the weight. And as you can see, California boom is over on that trend there. They got a 78 credit score with trans credit. Oh, I'd be leery of that. But that's dealing with the backhaul market. California is a backhaul market right now. Has been for a while. Here's $1.75. West Plains to Long Beach. What the hell? There's no way I'd go out to California for that cheap. I mean, if you can profit off that, good on you, but there's easier ways to make $300 a day. Here's Neosho to Sanger. So small appliances are moving right now. So that's interesting. Usually this doesn't boom until October, September. So look at how all over the place that is. 281 a mile is the average. So they're a little low right there. That needs to be about $1,000 to go down to Sanger, because Sanger, you're either going to go to Dallas or you're going to go somewhere in Oklahoma with a pretty decent deadhead to get out. So you're going to want to be about $1,000 on that, if not more. Or have a good backhaul. Here we go. Independence to Abbotsford, Wisconsin. Another one that's low. Why is that so low? How many miles is that? 555 miles for $900? No, I don't think so. Here we go. West Plains to Pittston. That 4369. That's going to be either wood pellets or charcoal. Drop trailer receiver 24 to 72 business hours for unloading. No, thank you. Absolutely not. Let's see. This is a common load I see all the time. Springfield to Tolleson. Usually this is going to be kitty litter. We have a kitty litter plant here. It's called Yesterday's News. Tolleson, there's some pet distributor there. Heavy load, 43.9 on the weight. But then you're going to take a hit out of Arizona. So they're at 224 a mile on the average. And then when you look at rates coming out of Arizona, there's nothing coming right back to Missouri, but let's take Arizona to anywhere. Here we go. Goodyear to Morris, Illinois, $1.69 a mile. Now, if you get them up on this rate, that'd be a good one because it's light. You'd have to check your routing, make sure there's no bad weather coming across 40 out of Flagstaff. So that'd be the one I'd pick because Morris, Illinois, that's going to be Costco, and Costco is awesome. Awesome. Tempe to Edwardsville, that's another good one. It's going to be heavier, though, but this one, Edwardsville is a great spot. Lands January 8th. That's Sunday, and there is possibilities of getting freight out of there on a Sunday. So if I took that load to Arizona and then took this back, that'd be a good one. And that would put me through the house twice. See how that works? See how it's cool to live in the right area? But generally, I try to avoid Arizona. Here's Tolleson. Here's a whole bunch of these Tolleson to Tollesons. So my guess is that this is a shuttle move. They're just moving dunnage or packaging supplies from one warehouse to another. They got a ton of those. So if you're a small carrier that lives in Arizona and you want to keep your guys busy, this might be something you look into. Either that or it's multiple postings. Here we go. Here's Tulsa to Kansas City. They're above average on that, so that's good. Pallets. That could be very interesting. If pallets start moving, that means they're anticipating a freight increasing. A lot of people don't realize that when freight's booming, pallets will move like crazy, and they're big money makers. And that lands you in Kansas City, which is a good market. Here's Tolleson to Orlando. We've got 4,500 on that. Comes out to 209 a mile. Anytime you get north of $2 out of Phoenix, man, you're doing pretty good. For van. Reefer, I don't know what the rates are. Like here's another Tolleson to Kansas City. They're at $1.58. It's a load of pallets. So All right, so let's take a look at Reefer. 48065, guys, if you want to check out the low board for yourself. Don't take my word for it. And I'll get to the comments again. A lot more yellow on this one. This is Reefer. Look at Idaho. Look at Idaho light up like a little beacon out west. Here we go. Idaho Falls picking up today at 3:00, going to Ocala, Florida. They're at $5,000, $221 a mile. Van or Reefer, so evidently it's going to be a dry load. 41,000 pounds. Probably ask for a little bit more depending on the weather. Look at this one. Rigby, Idaho to Zebulon, North Carolina. They're at 304 a mile, 6,800. Look at all this. Need ETA to pick up to coordinate product, ready time, appointment if needed. Must send a picture of the BOL and of the secured load with load locks in place before leaving the shipper, which is what you should be doing anyways, if it's possible. Failure to do so may result in fines. If the product needs to be cut, we must WEMU delivery instructions. Delivery appointment will be between 5 and 10. We will send revised rate con once appointment is set. Cannot be late to delivery appointment. Driver must wait until product is counted by receiving POD. Okay, so these are potatoes, by the way. Potatoes usually pay pretty good. Oh, you mean potatoes out of Idaho? That's really weird. I didn't know that could happen. A lot of times, I'm not saying that's the case with this load, but a lot of times when you see that they need to make the delivery appointment after the load is picked up, that is a sign that sometimes it takes a while to load. So they don't want to make a delivery appointment time if it's going to be 10 hours to load you. So just be aware of that when you see those kind of things in the notes. The load securement is important, and I've been telling you guys that you need to show your load securement if possible. A picture to the broker when you do your check call that you're loaded and rolling, and you show the securement, you show the lock, you show the seal intact, because it puts a timestamp on it as well. From my experience, potatoes usually pay pretty good, so this is a good load. There's the risk that it might take a while for them to load you, but once you're loaded, it looks like there's no room for error. And at least they're giving you a window, so they have a general idea of what it's going to take. These are going to be bagged potatoes, so it's not like, the loose ones that you deliver at Frito-Lay or whatever. So that's a good paying load right there. 6,800, 304 a mile to go all the way to North Carolina. And they're $800 above the average. You might even be able to squeeze 7 out of this. I would try at least. So that could be a good load. Now, let's see. Did it say when it picked up and delivered? January 4th to January 9th. So 2234 on the miles. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you'll be 6 days on that load. So at posted rate, it's 1133 a day. It could even be higher if you grab something that picks up and delivers the same day in North Carolina, which is, if you got a Coke plant nearby, you could probably get that done. So 1133 a day. Now, if you do it for $7,000, 1166 a day. So to me, that's a good load. Other than the weight, you're good to go. Which the weight will be handy if you're going through some snowy areas. You want that weight. So I would do that load. That's a load I'd be like, okay, let's do it. Get them up, ask for 72, get them down to 7. You're good to go. That's how I would approach that. Here's Boise to Pauls Valley. Now, if you notice, this is England Logistics. We've looked at their loads before, and they're always way lower, right? And so that tells me that either they're using AI pricing or they just want as cheap as possible. And so I would call on one of these loads to see what the conversation is like. And if it's what I suspected, then I will never call this broker. I'll look at that like, oh, yeah, I'm not calling on that. This is just how my mind works, right? Unless I'm desperate, unless it's my only option. And you try not to put yourself in a position where only one or two brokers is your only option. Because that's where desperation has to rear its ugly head. Because Boise to Pauls Valley says Reefer, 40,000 pounds, 40,350. So here's how I'm going to look at this. Pauls Valley, Oklahoma, you're looking at the Oklahoma City market. Pauls Valley, that's going to be Walmart, by the way. So I'd want to be at 3 on that one. So that should be at least 4,650. The average is 4,000 for the 1, 2, 3, and they're asking for 3,000. So a difference of 1,650. I'm going to have to get them up on. If I have no history with this broker, that's going to be more difficult to do. If they're not desperate to move this load, that's going to be difficult to do. So that's so I probably wouldn't even call on this. And that's by design. They have it low because they don't want you price gouging. They want to keep their commission. The customer may not be paying very well, but Oklahoma is kind of a down market. So I've got to get some money going into there. That's the thing. Everybody automatically should know that you get a rate to Florida, it better be high. But there are other dead areas that you don't realize they're dead areas because it's not blatant as Florida, like Oklahoma. Pauls Valley, you're looking at either the Oklahoma City market or the Dallas market. Now, the reefer market out of Dallas isn't bad right now. So, you have that going for you. But Oklahoma is kind of a dead zone, like a weird zone. The rates are coming out of Oklahoma are usually better than Texas at times, at least in van. But only on the short haul stuff. The best paying loads coming out of Oklahoma are either going to Arizona, Florida, New Jersey, places like that. Other dead areas. So this is where experience comes in. All right. Let's go back to the comments here. Should I get a sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddle or bacon, egg, and cheese McGriddle? Neither one. All those carbs in the morning will screw you up. Could you look at Seattle for Friday Reefer dry box? Yeah, we could do that. I'm gonna have to do that. Cool trucking. So give me a chance here to catch up the comments. Wheel burner. Good morning. Hopefully everybody's having a good week so far. Alfalfa. Hey, here at Jubilits in Portland for a 34. Jubits, not Jubilits. Coffee is good and fresh. So let's start there. Will Burner. CDN, good morning, Steve. I'm sorry I'm late. Reminder in 23 that March and June are 5-week months. Plan accordingly and try capturing extra revenue those months. That's a good point. Get a backhaul paper out of Longview, Washington, Ohio for Pratt Paper. Haven't had coffee yet, Shannon, but I'm working on it. Morning, Snorelord in chat, says Jason. Forget all the trucking stuff. Buy a lotto ticket. $1 billion jackpot Friday again. Yeah, bitches, says Big Rig CEO. At this time of year, I'd stay in Texas hauling refrigerated goods. That's a good plan. Potatoes from Idaho. Guess that's called carb loading. Potatoes from Nonpareil. I've loaded there plenty of times. Dave Dudley song, 6 days on the road. If I win $1 billion, I'll ghost all of you. Same here. If I won the lotto, I could retire from trucking entirely. Now, here's what I'll do. If I win the lottery, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to pretend like I'm still a truck driver, YouTube vlogger guy, and then just pretend like everything's cool and not even mention that I'm a billionaire. Well, after taxes, probably a millionaire. Got loaded with 41,000 pounds of paper in 20 minutes. That's how it should be. Or I would buy everyone a new truck, including me. I've got some loads from England. Nothing great, but decent rates. They never give you a banger, though. Yeah, they have a lot of freight on the 123 low board. So if you can run for a lower rate, then I'm sure England can keep you busy. Keep on trucking like the doodah man. So cool trucking wanted Seattle. So let's look at that. So find loads. Seattle Wah. Let's see. We'll throw in van here. Apply. So van reefer for when? Oh, for Friday. So that's going to be the 6th. So let's change this to 6 only. Apply. And search. Well, here's your load. Seattle to Boise right here. Average is 281 a mile. Packaging materials. Van 53. I'm gonna take out van here because I know you have a reefer. Not every van load can go in a reefer, like paper, for example. Oh, that diminishes the number quite a bit. 150-mile radius. You got California, Texas, Aspen, Colorado. 48 cents a mile. That's got to be a partial. That better be a partial. 1 pallet of stones. Here we go. Bellingham, Washington, Ochalata, Oklahoma. Ugh. They are way under the average. Who is this? England Logistics. Holy crap. Oh, man. Yeah, if you can get them up on that one, which I doubt you will, that needs to be about $6,000 on that. Oh, okay, it's Washington, so we'll come down to 5, but still. They're at 36-26, so they're playing the odd number game. So you got to love that. So I'm not impressed with that particular brokerage. Or Orondo, Washington to Glendale, Arizona. Looks like it's got 2 stops or 2 pickups. So you can probably get some more money off of this one. It's produce. I'm going to say apples do a lot of multiple pickups. Am I correct on that? Cool trucking. Have you hauled apples? I know I've done a few of those in Michigan. Is it even apple season? I don't know. But the one I would look at would be this one, going out to from Washington to Wisconsin. 248's the average, which this is 123, so it's a little bit lower. So you probably get a decent rate for that one. And then Wisconsin, man, you've got all kinds of loads coming out of there. That'd be the one I choose. Let's see if they're approved with underfunding. They are. They got a B score, but they are approved. And then they got a 93 with trans credit. So that's not a bad little deal. I don't have any experience with Dupree, but I'm pretty sure we're probably set up with them. Not too many options, so lovely. So I got to deal with that as well. Apples or onions out of the Prosser, Washington area. LVC's telling you what to do. Get the thumbs up, people. Big Rig CO, you want to come in for a minute? If not, I understand. It's again, knowing your areas. Steve, you have provided so much insight this morning. If anyone is either new to spot market or looking at new areas to run, you saved people 2 to 3 years figuring out all these lanes if they took notes. Well, thank you, CDN. I guess a lot of this just comes naturally to me because I've been doing it for a while. I've been in the. You guys saw my IFTA stickers. That's how long I've been in the spot market since 2019. Well, 2018, I took that sticker off before I put the 2019 on there. So, been in this game since 2018. If you count my Landstar years, well, I mean, that was kind of spot market-ish. And that's where I took a lot of my lumps. It's just how I don't know. I appreciate the compliment, CDN. I just it's just second nature to me, I guess, and sometimes I take that for granted. How do you like them apples? Probably an onion load out of Hy-Vee up on the plateau. Got to get your bucks going into Seattle. Absolutely. Yes, like trucking was set up with Dupree. I did a couple loads with them. They treated pretty good. Good deal, man. So that'd be the load I'd do then. This now it says 8+ hours on the posting. So it says onions right there. Um there's a good chance this load probably doesn't exist anymore. Some brokers are good about taking that down and some aren't. And there's been a lot of times where I've called on a load from the 123 low board and they're like, where did you see that posting at? So 123. Oh, okay. We took it off that. We didn't take it off of 123. So there's that. But if you're a broker, you can post to 123 for free. Did you know that? Unless something's changed. So if you're a broker watching, you can post. Get your load. Get your load moved. Snorelord's truck. Agreed, CDN. I'm a perfect example of that. It really is a deeper dive in the low boards than I ever took when looking at the boards in haste, desperate for my backhaul. That so SST, I definitely agree. I try to teach people that you got to look ahead, and I get so many calls of what would Steve do, and I'm like, well, I wouldn't have done that to begin with. So, but sometimes you're forced into a situation that you can't help it. So it's the ability to have an open mind, and I'm going to use Jeffrey Like as an example. So when he was at Schneider, people would call him, "Hey man, I live in Portland, Oregon, and I'm not making any money here at Schneider." And so what Jeff was able to do is he was able to get on the low board with the driver and then look at a low board a certain way. It's all perception, right? And he could tell you how to run your area, what he would be choosing. And that would kind of open a lot of people's eyes, like the month before, the month from when I was approved to go to Schneider and before I actually started, Jeff was constantly showing me, hey, I would grab this load and do this, and then I would grab that load and come back to doing this. It's like he was already formulating a plan for me. And so as a dispatch service, I kind of try to do the same thing. You can do it on the spot. You can do it at Schneider. You can do it at Landstar. It's the way you look at the load board. You keep an eye on trends because it'll, if you're doing long haul, it's important to know when California is going to take a dump on rates or on volumes. And if there's an increase, like for example, Idaho being green on Reefer, well, that's potatoes and onions. I noticed that Neosho's doing a lot of their small appliances, so obviously they're getting ready for spring sales. And then I told you guys on another live feed that this time of year is when they start shipping the early spring stuff: lawn equipment, grills, smokers, mulch, gravel, decorative bricks, regular bricks. In the reefer, you're looking at what foods in season. You're looking at your produce, a lot of produce coming out of the west. And so when you look at a low board, hot market maps are so important because it allows you. So instead of just, oh, look, California's green, you're like, okay, why is it green? What's coming out of there? Texas is green. Why? Why is Texas and Mississippi green but not Louisiana? So we'll click on Texas and you can kind of see what's moving, right? Missouri City, that's Houston area, Laredo. So let's look at Laredo here. A lot of meat is processed in Laredo. A lot of produce comes out of Laredo. And this says steel product needs tarps. I must have this on. Let's I have it on all. Okay, so let's go back to Reefer here. So is it important to know that Wisconsin's a good freight lane for Reefer? Yeah, but it's also important to know why it is. Look at Utah light up green here for Reefer. And so when you look at the generalities, here's Logan, Utah to Carthage, Missouri. That's prime. Food or kindred products. I don't know what a kindred product is. Forgive my ignorance. I usually get decent rates from Prime, believe it or not. And because I know a guy. Email link? Okay. Oh, let's don't everybody need all my info. We're gonna bring Big Rig CEO in, guys. I just sent it. Big Rig CEO. And so it's not that it's a deeper dive. I mean, it is, but that's part of knowing where I want to run. And the part that I don't like is if I look at an area and there's suddenly only 5 loads to choose from. Well, then I know that I'm kind of screwed. So you want to look ahead to see if you're going to screw yourself. But a lot of us, look, a lot of you that have contract freight and you spot to come back, you don't have a choice, right? I don't like the phrase backhaul. They're all just loads. And I get that too. Question in the chat, and Steve, your most profitable weeks in 22, were they similar in previous years? Have you connected with those brokers to try to repeat in 23? That's a good question. When going into Texas, I noticed a lot of flatbed coming out. All right, Big Rig CEO, what is up, my friend?
Yeah, bitches.
Is that a hotel behind you?
It is. I'm still here.
Man.
I'm still here. So day one, 2023. I'm still I'm in Ohio, and I smelled diesel fuel. And then all the lights on the dash came on, and I pulled into a rest area because thank God there was one right when it happened. Got up on the shoulder, and smoke is just pouring out from underneath my hood. And thank God we didn't light on fire. So I blew the fuel lines off of number 5 and 6 fuel lines completely off the rail. And I don't want to say I blew them; they just blew off the rail. It had nothing to do with me. Oddly enough, I had just had them worked on, and the tech here is like, yeah, they didn't bolt them down properly at all. There's a whole bracket that goes here, and it's missing. It's not even there. I don't know why it's not, but it's a stabilization bracket. That's why this whole thing is shaking right here. Number 6 injector or fuel line is completely missing. It's gone. It just literally blew it completely off the rail, never to be seen again. And number 5 is there, but it literally, you can just shake it with your hand. And it's been an absolute nightmare. And then, of course, and how they were able to even do this. So the part is on and has been on back order for 6 months. So evidently, when I got it repaired while I was home for Christmas, which when I was home for Christmas, I'd had a bunch of work done. And I pointed out to them that I had a little bit of seepage around number 5 and 6 around the seal. And of course, that's warranty. So they went ahead and replaced it, but obviously didn't do it properly. And so can't find the part. And I hesitated to even come in here, but I have such a good message for people and a learning lesson. So if you watch Steve's channel or my channel or whatever for nuggets, here's going to be the nugget of today. In the way of a story. So the dealership here, I'm in Youngstown, Ohio, and the dealership says that part is on back order and we don't have it. We've got a list. We've been waiting on 13 of these for the last 5 months. Right? Trucks are down, still parked on our parking lot because we can't get this part. And so here's kind of the way, here's a better understanding of how things work inside of a Freightliner shop. Okay. You have a parts department, and they're constantly trying to procure parts for all the equipment that's on their lot for trucks that need repairs. And so in the instance of my part, right, they looked inside their system, and their system consists of like 5 or 6 different dealerships in Ohio. And they have access to the parts for all of these dealerships that are, their stock numbers. And nope, they don't have it. So at that point, they order it from like Freightliner corporate, and they're done. They are done working for you. Okay. Mm-hmm. People need to understand that. If it's not, so for instance, I'm at FIDA, FYDA Freightliner. And FIDA Freightliner has 5 or 6 locations around Ohio and a couple in Pennsylvania. If that part is not in the FIDA group in one of their parts rooms, they're done looking. Mm-hmm. They do not and will not go outside of anything to look for that part. At that point, they just order it from corporate and wait for Freightliner to send them the part. So you have to be proactive. Mm-hmm. You, as a owner operator, as a business owner, you're your best asset for running and taking care of your company. So yesterday morning, I got on the phones and I started calling around to every damn Freightliner in the country, which is something, understand, they're not going to do for you. Within 30 minutes, I found my part over in South Bend, Indiana. So they wouldn't, however, South Bend would not take my credit card over the phone and ship me that part. Just absolutely refused. We don't do that. I kind of understand why. Somebody orders it over the phone, they take a credit card to part ships. That guy's like, I didn't buy that. And then they fight the charge, and now this place is out their part, right? Mm-hmm. However, what they would do is ship it to, if Freightliner, every Freightliner has an account with every Freightliner in the country. So I called the FIDA Freightliner where my truck is, and I said, hey, look, I found this part. Here's the phone number. The guy has 2. Call him up and get him to ship it to you. Okay, yeah. I'll pass it on to the parts manager. Okay, great. I also, two is one, one is none, called the Freightliner in Springfield, Missouri that did the work on my truck originally and botched it up, and got that parts manager involved, or I actually got the service manager over there involved. And because again, they're the ones that did the shoddy work that has me broke down and had me a $1,270.38 tow bill to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
So I got him involved and told him, look, you need to call this place in South Bend. You need to order this part. You need to have it shipped out here to me. Yeah, okay, I'll take care of it. Well, 4 hours goes by. I don't hear nothing. Meanwhile, I kept calling around, still trying to find the part,
Mm-hmm.
because I want to have multiple options. And I go up to the Freightliner and I asked, right, well, 2 hours later, I called up to the Freightliner and asked if they had any progress on getting me the part. And he said, well, I sent him a message about it this morning. He said working on it. He hasn't responded since, so I don't know. Meanwhile, I went and rented a car. I'm now prepared to drive all the way to South Bend, Indiana, 300 miles, get my damn part and bring it back.
Right.
So I'm up there and I said, look, I just rented a car. I'm going to drive to South Bend and get the part if they didn't have it shipped. But I don't want to drive to South Bend to find out they already shipped me the part. So I need answers. So he goes back and he talks to the guy. And the guy's like, yeah, he just now called over there and they already sold the parts. So had he called when I said to,
Mm-hmm.
problem solved.
Right.
Instead, he emailed them this morning.
Mm.
And that's the other thing I learned is these parts people, they don't like to pick up the phone and call and track down a part. They like to email. Why? Because they're looking for 1,000 parts a day,
right,
for 500 trucks a day or 100 trucks, whatever it is. And they don't have time to be constantly calling. And again, that goes back to you. You as the owner operator have to be willing to do the work, right? So now I'm just obviously steamed, right? I found the damn part. I could have had the part, but somebody didn't do their job. So I called up the place that had the parts after the guy said that they didn't have it anymore. And I was like, hey, did you, perhaps ship it to Youngstown via a request from Springfield, Missouri? And the guy's like, no. I was like, okay, thanks. So I called the manager in Springfield and said, hey, I called you this morning about this part that I'm broke down because of your shop and asked you to get it shipped. And they're saying you never called them. And he's like, no, I called the guy in the shop in Youngstown where you're at and told him that I was getting ready to order this part and have it shipped over to you because I didn't want him also doing the same thing. And then both of us going after the same part when I could just take care of it. And the guy in Youngstown said not to worry, he was taking care of it right then. So everybody dropped the ball on me.
Wow. Or like fumbled the ball.
Or completely, right? And obviously I was just pissed. So drove back to the hotel room and got back on the phone and started looking again. Finally found two more of the part in Little Rock, Arkansas. Same problem. We won't sell it to you. You have to come in and physically purchase it or be another Freightliner dealership and have it shipped. So this time I didn't even talk to the Youngstown shop. I called the Springfield shop and talked to that guy because I know these people. I have a relationship with them. I've been going there for 12 years. And they also understand this is their fault.
Mm-hmm.
I let him know, hey, Dodge it. Little Rock has two of these. I need you to get one shipped to me. Hangs up. I'm on it. Hangs up the phone. I keep calling around. I found another part in Georgia. That guy would take my credit card. He emailed me an invoice. I've a link. I did everything I needed to do. I've got my tracking number. My part is on the way. Overnight delivery. It's going out this morning because it was late yesterday when I actually was able to. It was like 5 in the evening. UPS had already run there for the day.
Right.
So it goes out this morning. It will be here tomorrow morning. Overnight delivery, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I had to pay an extra $100 to have that part overnighted to me. To me, it's the best money I'll spend this year so far because you figure at a minimum I'm losing $1,000 a day. Why not spend $100 to get myself out a day sooner or 3 days sooner versus standard mail, right?
Right.
Meanwhile, I have never said a word to the Springfield shop who's ordering the part, supposed to be ordering the part from Little Rock to get it shipped out here to me. Because I don't care if 8 parts show up here, as long as one of them goes on my truck.
Right.
And if they should happen to get the part from Little Rock and put it on my truck, and then my parts show up, well, I'll just put it back out on eBay.
Right.
Or put it in my garage at the house for the next, or leave it in the side box of the truck for the next time this crap happens.
Right.
And so as it stands right now, there should be 2 parts on the way. And the nugget that you need to take away from this is everybody I talked to, every shop that I called that didn't have one, and I called at least 50 shops yesterday, dealerships, right?
Mm-hmm.
Including this one, including the one in Springfield where I do most of my business, all said the same thing to me. That part's on critical back order. We've got trucks that have been sitting here waiting. I'm sorry, we don't have the part. We can't get the part. You're going to have to wait. It's going to be months, blah, blah, blah. But because I would not take that for the answer, and I worked and worked and worked and pushed and pushed and worked and worked and worked, I was able to get the part in a day. I don't know anybody in New York. Anyway, I was able to get that part in one day and get it shipped. And so if you get yourself in a position where you break down and they're telling you your part is on back order, what they're telling you is they don't have it inside their group of dealerships.
Mm-hmm.
And it is up to you as the business owner to go outside there and try to get that part, because they're just not going to do it. They're going to look inside their dealership. If it ain't there, they're going to order it from corporate, and they're going to sit and wait because they got other things that they need to be doing. They got another part they need to try to chase down and get shipped.
Right.
And so you have to be 100% proactive. You have to be the person that is willing to do all of the work to get it done. And most drivers, a lot of owner operators, they don't realize this. They just take it's on back order, I can't get the part as the answer, and their truck sits, and maybe it sits so long they go out of business, and it maybe doesn't need to happen that way.
Right.
If I just took no for an answer, they could have put me out of business. They could have left me sit 3 to 6 months waiting on some stupid part that cost $65. But I wouldn't take no for an answer.
Yeah. Can you imagine the $65 part is what takes you out of business?
Yeah, I can, because it looked like it was going to. But I would have every day, until I found somebody that had that part. I would have been on the phones calling every single day. I would have called the same places every single day to see maybe they got one in. Right. And there were several places that I called, and they're like, yeah, we just got a couple of them. However, we got trucks that have been waiting on our lot for these parts, so we can't sell them to you. So the part was out there. Right. That was the good news in my brain, is like, man, the part's out here. I just got to find somebody willing to let me have it.
Right.
And finally I did. and it'll be here tomorrow. And so instead of being down for weeks and months, I'm going to be down for a few days. And then I get to have the fun conversation with the dealership who screwed all this up in the first place and try to recoup the tow bill and the hotel bill and the rental car bill. Because I'm here because they did bad work.
I believe Fate Trucking went through something similar. He ended up having to get lawyers involved to get one of the dealerships that messed up his truck involved on the downtime and the tow bill and everything else. So,
and I'm
I think
not,
he did a video.
I don't really want the downtime, but I do want the tow bill and the hotel bill.
Right.
Right. That seems fair to me. Even the rental car was kind of a choice, but you really got to be able to get around, right? And I paid $177 for a $65 part so that I could have it overnight express, super fast Pony Express delivery, right? I want that money back. Give me my money because you cost me money. What they did cost me money. And look, it's not going to be an easy conversation. It's not going to be a fun conversation, but I'll definitely have this conversation.
Right.
I've kind of already started it when I talked to the shop in Springfield. I said, hey, look, what do I need to do to get reimbursed for this tow bill? And he's like, well, we need photographs and we need this, that, and the other. And I made sure that he got that stuff. Right. I made sure that he got the initial report an assessment from the shop here as to what the problem was. And you know what? I may wind up eating all of it. What I won't have to eat for sure past this part is any of the work to put this part on my truck because it's all under warranty anyway.
Right.
That's the crazy part. This is a warranty issue. My fuel rail system's all warranty. Fuel lines, fuel seals, it's all warranty. So that, that part's not going to cost me anything. But, again, they were willing to just let my truck sit for months, waiting on somebody at Freightliner Corporate to eventually send them a part. And then I was on a list of trucks that are sitting on this lot that need the same part. So how long would I have been down over this? I don't know. But I was certain to not give up and make sure that I was able to get this done. So if anybody else finds themselves in this situation, remember that just because they say they don't have the part and it's on back order, don't mean you can't get the part.
It's amazing to me, and that's why I wanted to bring you on because I knew that you were doing that, and a lot of people don't recognize that. And here's the thing. This is the problem I have. If someone asks me what's the single worst issue about being an owner operator, it would be dealing with repairs and parts at the dealerships and the shops, because no one wants to bend over backwards for you. No one wants to solve your problem. You had to go and solve your own problem of finding that part. Now, I understand if they don't want to go outside of the network, but I would think that, I went to an MHC in Jacksonville that had so many trucks in the parking lot. I couldn't even get my trailer in there. And they're like, yeah, you got to drop your trailer on the side of the road there. I'm like, I ain't doing that. And so I looked and found a Peterbilt dealership to put my fuel pump on that had way more room. But it's like, isn't it in your best interest to get these trucks off the lot? And so I would think that there's got to be a service created that does exactly what you did. Let's go outside the network. Let's find the shop that will take a credit card order. I've heard of people like grabbing an Uber to go get the part somewhere else. You were prepared to take a rental car all the way to South Bend, Indiana, and hope that no one, was going to buy the part before you got there. It shouldn't have to be like that.
Well, I was prepared to bribe the guy in South Bend if I was driving there. It's like, look, dude, I was going to tell him, I'm going to drive 5 hours to come get this part. You can't sell it. I don't want to drive 5 hours and get there and you'd be like, oh, well, I sold it 5 minutes ago. I don't want to hear that. If I'm going to drive 5 hours, the least you can do is hold the part
Mm-hmm.
till I get there. You know what I'm saying? I would have had that conversation, and I'm certain I would have been able to convince him at a minimum to hold the part for me to come in and physically put my hand on it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but again, other people, like you said, fumbling the ball after I handed them. I mean, it was a 15, 20 minutes yesterday morning, and I literally found two of them. And it took me all day. I'm not going to lie. After that, it took me all day to find more. But what was I going to do? Just sit around and, fill the bathtub full of beer and ice and get drunk all day and not do what I needed to do to get my parts? No, no.
No.
Never say die, man. And look, this is a crummy way to start out the new year. This happened literally at 8 o'clock in the evening on January 1st, and it was horrible, and I hated it. But again, let it be a lesson to the other owner operators out there that just because they say it's on back order, don't mean you can't get the part. It means they are not willing to do anything past what they've done to find that part for you. But you can get on the phone and you can find that part if you work hard enough.
Yeah, and it's a one and done part. That's the other thing people have asked. It's not something that you can get off a salvage truck.
Right. Yeah. They were like, right. So, and that's how it was explained to me also. So once they put that part on, if it comes off, it goes in the trash. They won't, it's not a reusable part. Now, I don't understand. Now, I understand like why the seal, because there's a seal that comes with that part, with that kit, because it's a kit with, there's two fuel lines, two seals, whatever, right? I understand why the seal wouldn't be reusable, but I don't understand why these steel fuel lines that are threaded, it's all threaded.
Right.
I don't understand why that stuff's not reusable, but it's not. And they say that I know what they say. They say, well, there's 2,000 PSI in that fuel line. We don't want to be putting used parts on there and then something like this happens. I don't, it's not reusable. So, and for some reason, so there's, four more injectors and four more fuel lines and four more seals past, other than 5 and 6 on your motor. Mm-hmm. And they're able to get the others, right? It's a different part number. But for numbers 5 and 6, which I guess it's common for those seals to leak, they're not able to get the damn parts.
Right. Well, the reason why I bring up the salvage aspect is because if you do have a part that's like, I had a buddy of mine, his depth sensor went out. It was a PACCAR, and he ended up having to get the whole assembly, a whole tank assembly from a salvage truck. Winter being here and all these pileups, there's going to be plenty of salvage trucks. So that's another option that you can look at that the dealers won't do for you either.
Right. Yes. If it's a part that is reusable, for certain, I would have been calling around every junkyard for trucks in the country to find that part. Sure.
Yeah, because sometimes you just have to get the whole assembly. You're paying a little bit more money, but then you're not down for weeks.
Right.
I think the worst moment I had was last year. I had, or the year before, I had the pumpkin went out, and I had to wait. Now it was one of those deals like, okay, we ordered the part, it should be here next week. Oh no, they said next week, but it's actually going to be a week after. So the part had been ordered, and there's not much I could do in that situation. And I was at home, so it wasn't too urgent. But like being out on the road, that I would have had to make some of the same moves that you did.
Sure. And I was like, look, I was looking at what does it cost to get a rental car to go home when he started talking about months. Obviously, I'm not staying in a hotel like that.
Right.
I was looking at airfare. Ultimately, my other driver was just going to book a load, come out here, grab me, and we were going to book a load back, and he was going to get me home, and I wasn't going to have to pay for a rental car airfare. But I wasn't going to take no. We can't get that part. That doesn't make sense to me. There's a whole big old country out here with hundreds of dealerships, right? Hundreds of repair shops that have a parts department. This part is somewhere. And ultimately, is it going to work perfectly like, with every part? No, but if you just remember that you have to do the work.
Yeah, you have to be. The key word you said was proactive. You got to be proactive.
Yeah, you have to be, because nobody else is gonna, and I understand their position, right? You have a parts department that's trying to find parts for 50 trucks, and he might be trying to find 500 parts a day. He don't have time to put the amount of attention and focus on your business that you do, right? You have to be the one to do this, and look, that's part of you deciding to be a business owner, right? So with any luck, my part shows up tomorrow like it's supposed to. They put them on the truck, and I get back in the game.
Yeah. I think at one time I was at MHC Kenworth there in Springfield, and they said they had 40 trucks waiting on parts. And I often wondered how many of those 40 could have been eliminated by using the process that you did.
Sure.
Because 40 trucks, I mean, it's a small lot. That's a lot of trucks on a small lot like theirs. And it's just, if the mechanics are starving for work.
Yeah, I just came back to the hotel. I didn't even turn the TV on, man.
Yeah.
I sat down at the desk in the hotel room. It's a decent hotel room, and it comes with a nice little desk. And I sat down and I started working. I started working the phones. I had 2 phones going. I had people on hold on 2 different phones at one point. Just was not going to give up until I found my part, until I got it overnighted to me. I refused to let something so small and so simple put me out of the game. And look, I can be out of the game for a little while, right? I mean, I could have went home and all that, but why? Every day your truck is not moving, it's losing.
Right.
So
let me do some comments here.
I have to do a follow-up video as to what happened with JB Hunt, because I was doing a power only for them, and I still don't have all the end result of that, because they had to repower the load out of here to get it delivered, and I don't even at this point have a rate con from them as to what they will pay me for the amount of work that I did do. So that'll have to be a whole follow-up video as to what to expect there.
Well, so that brings up to the next thing I want to bring up, and then we'll get into the comments here related to what you've been talking about. You're running power only now, and you wanna put it out on your channel so people can know what to expect, because no one's really doing that.
Right?
Is that correct?
No, that is fully my intention, is to vlog the full power only experience. And I'll go into detail on my channel and stuff as to why I made this decision, and we'll go from there. But yeah, that's another headache that I've had to deal with, is I'm in the middle of hauling somebody else's trailer with a load on it, and obviously I can't deliver it. And I may still wind up doing it, because when I went back over there, that trailer was still sitting there with the load on it, and maybe they will still have it sitting. And if it's still sitting there when they tell me my truck is done and my truck is ready, I'll give them a call and say, hey, they fixed my truck. Do you want me to finish out this load? But they'll have to have appointments for me to agree to do it at that point. I'm not just going to go sit endlessly underneath their trailer.
Right. Yeah. Wheelburner says, I've been told we don't have the part, then phoned around, found it, then paid to have it overnighted to the dealership. CDN says, the situation is a reminder that if you're coming onto the spot market, you need an emergency fund to pay for tow, hotel room, loss of revenue, and the unknown repair not covered by warranty. And what a lot of people don't realize, a lot of warranty work, sometimes it's in limbo, right? So you got to pay for it up front, and then the warranty company's got to pay you back or reimburse you.
Yeah. So I don't have I'm still under my original factory warranty, so that won't be an issue. Typically, that becomes an issue when you buy an aftermarket warranty.
Right. In Schneider, I mean, you've got a Schneider finance truck. They have, you can people can dog lease purchase options all day long, but Schneider has some of the best warranties on their trucks. I know several people that have paid for whole engine rebuilds, crate
Sure.
engines, because of the killer warranty that Schneider puts on those trucks.
Yeah.
LVC says Trump will bring manufacturing back to America. He understands it hurts the economy when industry is paralyzed by part shortages in every industry.
Sure. Look, but part of this part shortage, is being caused overseas. You have China, who still has the zero COVID policy, who has entire cities and ports and manufacturing in certain sectors shut down completely
Mm-hmm.
because one person may or may not have had COVID. And it's China's not allowing China and the Chinese people to get back to normal at all.
Right.
There is no such thing as zero COVID. That's like saying we have a zero flu or a zero cold policy in the United States. You can't get rid of it.
Yeah, good
You
luck
just
with
have
that.
to learn to live with it. And that's the reality. And if anyway.
With both feet, Fate had 2 times last year. He was down several extra days at one and a few weeks at another shop due to poor workmanship. That's another thing. It's hard to find good work, and then once good employees, and then once you do, they're stretched to the max, and so things get
And
dropped.
I've always gotten really good, high quality work out of this shop that I use in Springfield. This is the first time I've really had a bad issue.
Mm-hmm. Wheel burner, I've never been able to get the downtime back, but I've always got back any other expenses, tow, express shipping, hotel, etc. But they won't volunteer you better. They won't volunteer you. Better be ready to fight for it.
On wheel burner, I'm going to fight tooth and nail to get that money. And I didn't expect downtime. That it had crossed my mind, and I was like, nah, they're never going to pay me my downtime. But at a minimum, I want my hotel and my rental car and my tow bill covered, because the tow bill was $1,270.38.
Were you in Ohio? Did they tow the truck and trailer together?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, that tow truck driver, dude. At one point, and so I had 32,000, and I weighed all total. I weighed about 68,000 truck trailer, and man, he was hauling me down the road doing every bit of 80 miles an hour, and I was like, man, we're gonna die. We're gonna die.
I know that there's some, and that's the other thing about towing is some states like Arkansas don't allow you to tow truck and trailer together.
They send 2 trucks, huh?
They send
oh,
2
nice.
trucks.
Double the bill.
Yeah, double the bill. A lot of tow companies have a regular truck with a 5th wheel, and so they can pull the trailer right behind the tow truck, making all the money.
Wow.
With both feet, they might be torqued to yield spec, meaning the threads are designed to stretch when tightened down and shouldn't be retorqued, or they could come loose. That's probably it on the one and done. What Big Rig CO demonstrated with not accepting no is what great freight broker does. Loads don't magically appear on load boards. It takes hundreds of great brokers not taking no from shippers. Come on, what it says, fly to Vegas, put it all in red, either the repair costs double or nothing.
Right, yeah. I was thinking about that literally this morning. I was outside, and I was having a little coffee and a cigarette, and I was like, man, how come I break down to like Youngstown, Ohio, and not like Las Vegas or something, where at least I can go enjoy myself and find something fun to do? It's like, man, you're in Youngstown. And I was like, man, the park's on its way. At this point, all I can do is wait. It's like, well, what am I going to do? Just sit in the hotel room all day? It's like, no, I'm probably going to leave. So now I'm looking at going to a movie theater, and it's like, man, dude, there's just nothing to do in Youngstown, Ohio. And but look, it's better than just sitting in the hotel room. At least going to a movie or something. But yeah, never break down. I never break down anywhere fun, right? I'm not like down in Florida broke down where I could go sit at the beach or something.
Yeah.
Never works that way.
Well, it could be worse. You could be in like Rollins, Wyoming, broke down, and I had a
Right.
buddy of
Yeah.
mine that blew his turbo out there, and
Yeah.
he was stuck there
And
for a week.
look, the other reason I don't ever break down in Vegas is because I don't go to Vegas. I don't drive out there, right?
Yeah, that helps. That helps. Cascade says those lines might be able to be reused, but service bulletin forbids dealers from doing so. Dealers only shop for parts in network or from warehouse when other networks could have parts on the shelf. That is true.
Right. And in Cascade, that's exactly how I was able to find the parts. Another network had it sitting on their shelf. And again, I total yesterday the part that has been on back order that you cannot find. Period. I was able to find 5 of them. 5.
A lot of people don't realize that a lot of dealerships are in umbrella groups. Like so, let's take Kenworth. You have MHC. You've got
Right.
CTI.
MHC is the umbrella group.
Yeah.
Right. And there's multiple MHC locations.
Right. And so, but then you got CTI in Troy. I think it's CTI. That they have their network, and then like Volvo. When I was looking at possibly getting a Volvo, Tri-Lakes, they've got dealerships in Springfield, Memphis, a couple other places, and then you have TLG Peterbilt. They've got a dealer here in Springfield, Joplin, and then Rush. That's another dealer
Right.
network. So, Welcome Back says now that you found the part, he should fill the bathtub with beer and go live.
Yeah, so I'm not a beer drinker, at all. But I did happen to find some rum and cokes in my hotel room last night because I was like, oh, I finally get to relax just a little bit. And I had a couple rum and cokes and I fell asleep very well.
Pneumatic Brits sharing your channel there.
Thank you. Thank you, Britt.
What's that saying? That's trucking? Yeah. Pale Rider's the best at saying that's trucking.
Yep, and it is. Look, it is, but anyway.
Yeah, we won't get into that, Don. Keeping on top of possible breakdowns before they become major issues is better than being broke down when you don't want to be broke down. And that's what I try to do. This was a situation that was beyond James's control.
Well, and again, this situation happened because of a repair before it became a major issue.
Right.
I had leaking you could just barely see where they had just started leaking on numbers 5 and 6 on the seal, which is right up against the block, right where it plugs the injector is. And I had gotten when you repair those, you have to put on new fuel lines. They won't let them reuse the old fuel lines.
Mm-hmm.
And it was because of that preemptive repair that this happened. And it was only because they did not, according to the tech here, they did not bolt, tighten down, and secure the fuel lines properly. And
you're also lucky that it didn't cause a fire.
Yes, I am. But no, I'm not, right? I owe $15,000 on a truck that's probably worth $60,000 on an insurance claim, and I carry $80,000 in coverage. So I might have came out way ahead and the truck underneath the ground. I'm glad it did not, right? It's my truck, it's my livelihood, it's how I make money, and it's the main tool that makes my business possible, aside of myself, obviously. And I'm glad it didn't burn down, but yes, it very easily could have. And had the injectors been on the other side where the exhaust is coming out of that motor, it may have been a very serious problem. And as much smoke it was coming out from under that hood when I came to a stop, I'm surprised we didn't light on fire, because I thought maybe we were on fire. I knew this. I did not go and just open the hood to provide an opportunity for any more oxygen than was already getting in there, to get in there to possibly cause a fire to flash up on me. I wasn't, and I'm sure that was getting enough oxygen for a fire anyway. I mean, you're talking about just under the hood outside the motor, but
Right.
I just got out of the truck and I had a little puppy with me that I was bringing out here to deliver to some people. And I snatched the puppy and my cell phone, and out the door we went. That way, if I had to call, emergency services to come get the fire put out, whatever, I could do so.
Did you get the puppy delivered? Okay.
Yes, they came yesterday. No, they came Monday and picked up the puppy.
Oh, nice. Good deal. Dio says Hollywood Casino is in Youngstown, right near the Freightliner Big Rig.
Yeah, I saw it. But all they have is slot machines, and I'm not a slot machine guy. So
He's a card player.
that's right. If I'm going to be in a casino, I'm going to be playing cards. I'm going to be playing against somebody and not the casino if possible.
James Clark says after repairs, would it not make sense to double check those repairs?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dude, I found. I remember when we were at Transland, there was one time I found a whole wrench in my engine compartment that could have easily, caused a lot of problems. Hell, I've got a filter wrench now that was gifted to me because it was left under the hood.
Sure. And again, look, I looked under the hood when I got done getting my repairs and everything looked okay. Now that I reach up and grab the new fuel lines and start janking them around to see if they were loose, no, I didn't do that.
Right.
Right. And maybe I should have. I don't know.
If they were that loose, you wouldn't have gotten out of it.
And I don't know that I would have even noticed that bracket was missing. Obviously, I didn't notice it because I looked at the work that they did to make sure that they actually did it.
Right.
And I didn't notice that there was a little bracket that holds everything steady missing, but there actually is.
Well, if they were that loose, I don't think you would have made it out of Springfield anyways.
Right. Yeah, I think they were on there, kind of okay, but not, I made it 800 miles
right
before they came apart.
So, well, James, enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for coming on here and
cool.
telling us your story, because I knew it'd be a good story, and I knew it'd be a good lesson for people that, if you're thinking about being an operator, these are the things that you're going to have to think about.
Yep.
If you're a current owner operator and don't even like changing your own light bulbs, no, you're going to go out of business in a situation like this.
Yeah. If you're allergic to work, this ain't the gig for you.
Right. Yep.
So, all right. Take it easy, Steve.
All right, man. Thanks for coming on later. All right. That was Big Rig CEO, guys. I'm going to end this feed here because I got to get to work myself. And strength for today, hope for tomorrow, guys. Peace. Thanks for watching. If you're watching the replay, I appreciate you. And 48065 on the 123 low board. And if you want to donate, that's cool too. So with that being said, strength for today, hope for tomorrow. Get to work. Peace.